Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by. I thought I'd do this video on something that I did recently. It's a binding. And I know a lot of witches are very leery about curses and binding, and you're going against somebody's will and so on and so forth. So I thought I'd explain what I did, why I did it, and what I did to prepare for it, because that's really, really important. When you do anything, any kind of spell for another person, you really need to be in alignment. You need to have permission. And what I mean by that is this something that is good for this other person? And so I talk to spirit guides. So well, let me first give you the backstory. This is a woman that I've been life coaching for a number of years. She is a witch, and she's been through the Self-Mastery for Witches course, and but she needed additional coaching with me. So I've been working with her for a number of years, and the reason she needed additional coaching is she's married to a narcissist. Okay, so what you need to understand is they both own a farm, and they both love this farm. And if they get a divorce, they'll have to sell the farm and split it 50-50. It's the way Iowa is set up. So both were trying to live with each other, even though they were at each other's throats all the time, because they want to keep the farm. They want to still live on the farm. Well, eventually he said he was going to file for a divorce, but decided against it, never did. He came up with a different plan. So occasionally what he'll do is he'll get into a rage and will pin my friend down, either against the wall or down on the floor, and get, within inches of her face, yelling obscenities at her. The thing is he has trouble controlling his anger. So she was afraid. She didn't know this time he was going to hit her or choke her or, hurt her in some way. So she headbutted him. He called the police, had her arrested for domestic violence, charged her for, with domestic violence, and took out a restraining order against her. So she was able to get a lawyer, but during this time, it's been, about 6 months. She's been working on herself and working with me. And why is this happening? Where is this coming from? And she was making all the connections. I learned to respond this way from my mom, because that's what my mom does. And he learned how to behave the way he is behaving from his mother. And that's where it's coming from. She was starting to put the pieces together, and she was really conscious and humble about her part in the whole deal, where she went wrong, where she behaved incorrectly or improperly or less than perfect. And so she was really processing all the karmic energy that was associated with both of them being together for 20-something years. And so that was part of the reason why I felt comfortable doing this binding, is because she was really owning up to her stuff and really learning it and becoming very conscious. And I told her this. I said, you have burned off the karma. You don't need to go to jail. You don't need to be, beat up by karma anymore. You've learned your lesson. So I decided to do this binding, and I talked to spirit guides. Okay, so I talked to my spirit guides. I talked to his spirit guides. I talked to her spirit guides, and they all said, yes, we want you to be a part of this in helping to free the situation, because it's just, they agreed with me that her burning off all that karmic energy, she learned her lesson. She doesn't need to go back to prison and go to prison for this and lose everything. The restraining order means he gets to possess the farm and all of the equipment, all of the animals, all of her stuff. She was unable to get her clothes. The only way she can get anything is to have the police escort her, and he has to agree to it, and he's not going to agree to it. He likes the fact that he's in control because, and the reason why he's doing this is because he lost control of her. When she went through the self-mastery course, she really found her feet and was standing up for herself and standing up to him, and he realized he was losing control. So this was the way of gaining that control back, by having her arrested. So what I did, of course, I talked to my spirit guides, and then I have a spirit guide who is a witch, and I communicated with her about the details, and I used my pendulum for second, just get a second opinion, so to speak, confirmation, and I created a poppet just out of some old material that I have, nothing special. I narrowed it down to 3 herbs: stinging nettles, dandelion, and juniper. Okay, I have all of those things growing out in my yard. So I gathered those things, dried them, stuffed them inside the poppet, and I glued the poppet because I didn't want to take the time to stitch it. But stitching can put you in a meditative state and really put in extra energy into your poppet. And then the oils, I used my pendulum to figure out the oils, and I put oils on it. I printed out a picture of him, most recent picture, and thanks to Facebook, plus his birthday, thanks to Facebook. So you guys might want to keep that in mind. But anyway, so I wrote that on the back of the picture. I printed it out, just, on a regular printer. Put his name, wrote his name and his birth date on the back of the picture. Then I pinned it to the poppet. All right. Then I created an incantation. I'll put the incantation down below. Okay. So if you want to see it and you want to use it, go for it. You can use it. And then while reciting the incantation, I took a black cord, hemp cord, and wrapped it around the poppet to bind him all the way to the top, and then I tied it off. But while I was doing the incantation, I was really getting into the energy of my own authority, and I'm standing in my authority and my own power, and I am ordering him, I am commanding him to lose this court case. I am commanding him to let her go and leave her alone. I'm in that place of authority. I have that energy of authority. I know it's right because I've talked to all the spirit guides. I've got the go ahead. I've got all this energy to put into it. And then once I was done, then I wrapped it in a black cloth, and I put it on a bookshelf away from prying eyes. Nobody is going to touch it, and just let it sit. I want to say within a week, definitely within a week, I got a text from the person, the wife, and she said that the DA dismissed the case. It worked, you guys. It worked. And I want to say that knowing ahead of time that she's burned off the karma and talking to the spirit guides, I feel like that was all part of it, and part of helping to shut this all down. So now they're going to get a divorce. They're going to have to split everything 50-50. And she has also been advised to file a restraining order against him. And what that does is it levels the playing field. Remember, I said that he wants control over her. So with a restraining order only against her, if she's in the grocery store and he shows up, she has to stop what she's doing and immediately leave the premises. She might have a shopping cart full. She has to leave immediately. With a restraining order on him, now it levels the playing field. Whoever was there first gets to stay. So if she's in the grocery store, he shows up, he has to leave. So that's probably going to burn his backside a little bit. But, you know, you inflict all kinds of garbage on another person, you need to own up to it. And he's not owning up to it. He wants control over her. So this is where it's landed. And so I hope that makes sense. And I hope this helps you understand something like a binding on another person, how it would work. I had no intention of hurting him. I have no intention of having everything taken away from him or any harm coming to him. That is not my intention. That is not my place. All I wanted was to stop him from hurting the person I was coaching, and to drop it so that it's even. So now they're just going to split everything down the middle and go their separate ways. That's the way it needs to be. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Please let me know down below if you agree, disagree, or have any insight how you would do it. So that helps me to, see a different view. Okay? So I don't mind negative comments as long as you're nice. Okay? So thank you so much for watching. Do something today that makes you feel good and brings you joy. I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.